contain what you can. Got everyone back in the car, took a breath, and kept driving. And here's the part that still gets me. We shifted the conversation back to brunch, back to normal, back to something safe. And by the time we walked into that restaurant, we would never have known what the morning looked like. We laughed, we passed plates, Alexa got tired with her dad, the girls were engaged, present, and okay. It wasn't perfect, but it was good. And years later, it's one of those stories that we still tell. The Mother's Day with the miscommunication, the panic, and the ants. Because this is foster care. Suffer.
The woman who bought the dress for $9 had no idea she was carrying a secret that an entire family had died trying to protect. Clara Brunner wasn't looking for a wedding dress, she was looking for a costume. Her co-worker's Halloween party was 3 days away, and Clara had left it to the last minute, as she did with most things that were related to her job as a veterinary technician in Madison, Wisconsin. The plan was simple. Walk into the thrift store on Monroe Street, find something ridiculous, and spend less than $20 doing it. The dress was hanging on a rack
Nova Sauce fingers.
sandwiched between a puffy ski jacket and a faded denim shirt. It was ivory silk, full-length, with delicate lace sleeves that had yellowed with age. The tag said $9. Clara pulled it off the rack and held it up. The style was old, not vintage, trendy old, legitimately old. The kind of dress someone's grandmother might have worn. She draped it over her arm and immediately noticed the weight. A silk dress like this should have been light, almost weightless. This one felt like it had a bag of sand hidden inside. Clara checked the hem, thinking maybe the previous owner had sewn in weights to keep the fabric from blowing. Nothing visible, she shrugged it off and paid at the register. The weight didn't bother her again until 2 nights later. Clara had hung the dress on the back of her bedroom door and set up her steamer to work out the wrinkles. As the hot steam softened the fabric, the silk started to hang differently. The midsection sagged in a way that didn't match the cut. There was something pulling it down from inside. Clara turned off the steamer and laid the dress flat on her bed. She ran her hands slowly along the bodice, pressing down through the silk and lining. Near the waist, on the left side, her fingers found it, a hard, rectangular shape about the size of a deck of cards. It was between the outer silk and the inner lining, completely invisible from the outside. She moved her hands to the right side. Another one. Same size, same firmness. Clara sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the dress. Her first instinct was to cut it open right there. But something stopped her. The weight, the texture through the fabric, the fact that someone had clearly gone through effort to conceal these objects. This wasn't someone forgetting a pack of tissues in a pocket. This was deliberate. The next morning, instead of going straight to work, Clara drove the dress to the University of Wisconsin campus. She didn't have an appointment. She didn't even know exactly where she was going. But she had taken an elective in textile history.
Imagine this guy being this guy.
The university had a costume.
They're both trio. I need to
She walked in carrying the dress over her arm and asked the receptionist if there was anyone who could look at an old garment. After a 1-0-minute wait,
I need to make
a man
this
named
cobble into
Dr.
an
Philip
intro.
Ryder came out. He was the archive's senior curator, mid-60s, with reading glasses pushed up on his forehead and chalk dust on his sleeves. Clara explained the situation. She had bought the dress at a thrift store. It was heavier than it should be. She could feel hard objects sewn inside the lining. She wanted to know if it was worth investigating before she just cut it open. Dr. Ryder's expression changed the moment he touched the fabric. He held the dress up to the light, turned it inside out, and examined the seams with a magnifying globe. Then he asked Clara to follow him to the archives analysis room. Under a digital microscope, Dr. Ryder studied the stitching around the concealed objects. The thread was cotton, not synthetic. The stitch pattern was tight, uniform, and used a specific technique that Clara wouldn't have recognized on her own, but Dr. Ryder did. He told her the stitching matched a concealment method documented in wartime Europe. During the Second World War, families fleeing occupied territories would hire seamstresses to sew valuables into clothing. The technique was designed to distribute weight evenly and avoid detection during border inspections. The industrial wax seal was another signature. It waterproofed the contents and made the pouches feel like part of the garment structure rather than something added later.
No,
Clara asked him how old
don't
the dress might
go up
be.
here.
Dr. Ryder examined the lace,
Tell him, Paul, don't go up here.
and the silk weave. Based on the construction, he estimated the dress was made between 1938 and 1944. The concealment work could have been done at any point during that window. He strongly recommended she contact the university's history department before opening the pouches. If this was what he thought it was, there could be historical significance beyond whatever was inside. Clara thanked him, but didn't make the call. Not yet. She drove home with the dress folded carefully on the passenger seat. The whole drive back, her mind was turning. A wartime wedding dress with hidden compartments. Whoever wore this dress had been carrying something important enough to sew into their clothes, something they needed to hide from soldiers. Back in her apartment, Clara set the dress on the kitchen table. She sat across from it for almost an hour, drinking coffee and thinking. Then she got up, went to the garage, and grabbed a strong neodymium magnet from her toolbox. She ran it over both pouches slowly, holding it close to the fabric. No pull, no reaction. Whatever was inside wasn't ferrous metal. That ruled out weapons, ammunition, or iron-based materials. Clara set the magnet down and picked up a utility knife. She chose the left pouch first. The wax seal was dark brown, almost black, and had hardened to the consistency of stone over the decades. She worked the blade carefully along the edge of the leather, cutting through the wax and the stitching beneath it. The smell that escaped was dry and mineral, like opening a box that had been stored in a basement for a lifetime. The leather flap folded back. Inside was a second layer of wax cloth wrapped tightly around the contents. Clara peeled it away. What fell onto her kitchen table made her drop the knife and push her chair back. Diamonds, dozens of them. Uncut, polished, the size of a pea to the size of a marble. She scattered across the wax surface, catching overhead light. Clara's hands were hovering over the table, not touching anything. Her brain trying to reconcile what she was seeing with reality. She opened the second pouch. More stones. They were slightly larger, wrapped individually in small squares of waxed paper. Some of the paper had faded writing on it. Numbers, weights, possibly. Clara counted them. 86 stones total across both pouches. She wasn't a gemologist.